So, okay, let's get into it, baby, 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 baby. Razbuten. Completing games and why I barely do it. Now, first off, this is just something I personally even have a problem with. And it's not even, I don't know if this is something that he's going to cover, uh, but in general, like, there's times that I'll be sitting there playing a game or something, and I just ain't having, like, I don't know. It's like it's like certain times when you're sitting there playing watching a movie or something, and you can kind of see where the end of this movie is going to be. It's like, okay, I can tell that this is going to be how this movie is going to end, or this is how this game's going to end, or whatever. And there's times that I'm like, I would like to see if that's how it is, but then at the same time, it it gets to you. And fin depends on the game as well. I got certain problems with it, but like, hey, it is what it is. Uh, like for example, I've played like I'll play through a whole game or something, and the most recent game that I've played and I haven't finished, and I don't know if I will finish, would have to be Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League. And reason why this game is because yeah, I was having fun with it, but it started just getting boring with me, and it started getting to where honestly the game itself, it got to a point where it was like, all right, you have to kill like after you killed the Justice League, you had to kill like the main protagonist. Okay, but you had to go into like 13 different universes, and they even tell you, hey, you have to kill this man pretty much 13 different times in different universes. So and I'm like, why do I don't want to have to do this over and over again. I don't. I will. I probably will go back into this game and try it down the road, but at the same time, it might be a while before I hop back into it, and because it's just that simple for me. I don't. Uh, I didn't want to have to go and do the same mission over and over again. Like it maybe if it was spread out more, maybe I don't know, but and also I don't know if it's going to be the exact same every time. I hope it ain't, but if it is, that's gonna suck, and that's what kind of is getting me uh not wanting to do it because I'm sitting here thinking like, dude, I don't want to play the same mission 13 different times, but just because it's a different universe or something. And I'm pretty sure the ending might be pretty good, but a lot also I see a lot of mixed reviews on that game, a lot more hate on that game than I see like love on that game. But also just in general, there's other games that I've never finished. I've seen so much good stuff about it. I was having fun with the games and stuff, but I just never actually finished them as well. Use Ratchet and Clank for example. I never finished the game. I played it. I played the hell out of the older ones. I think I have finished the older ones, but the newest one that came out that I have played, I never finished it, and I've tried to finish it. It's just after I don't know. It's just I after kind of stepping away from it for a little bit and then trying to get back into it. It kind of like I didn't. It's the same as like when a lot of people were talking about Red Dead Redemption uh, when that game came out. Uh, the story, they were playing the story, and then all of a sudden, like Resident Evil came out. I think that came out during the same time, not far apart from each other at least. And then they were like, you know what, fuck it, let me get back, let me go play this game. And then by the time they finished this game, uh, or they got back to Dead Redemption story, they were like, you know what, I don't even want to play. I don't even already know where I'm at, or if I do know where I'm at, I don't want to. I just don't have the appeal like I did have when I first started the game. And so, and then I'm like, okay, maybe I have the fun when if I start over, and then that's kind of it throws the fun away as well because I'm like, damn, I've already done this. I already know exactly what's going on. Unless the game has good play replayability, I don't. Now I will say maybe Ratchet and Clank does have some good replayability, but at the same time, it's one of those uh, games I could possibly just hop on at any time and play. But at the same time, when I do hop on, I might. I just haven't wanted to play it. Is the thing. A lot of it is just the want to play that game.
I don't like completing games. I used to. For a few years in the early 2010s, God, that makes me sound old, I put a lot of time into achievement and trophy hunting. And to clarify, that's what I mean when I say completing a game, getting all the trophies or achievements. I completed stuff largely for one of two reasons. The first being that I
First off, I never did trophy hunting. There's only one game that I've actually went full on and did the trophy hunt for, and that was Red Dead Redemption 2 and Red Dead Redemption 1. I did it on Red Dead Redemption 1 because I was I didn't even try to get most of them. I was like 90 something percent done with them without even trying. And then whenever I hopped on the game one day, I looked at my trophies and I was like, damn, I'm that close. And then it was like some of the more harder tasks. And then kind of the same with Red Dead Redemption 2. Most of the trophies were just done, and then I was like, damn, I'm this close to being done. Let me finish them. I still haven't finished Red Dead Redemption 2's trophies. And also, that's the bullshit part. It kind of like demotivated me for me wanting to go back and play some of these older games because my first account, I don't know what the fuck happened to it on PlayStation. I was sitting there playing some of these games, and I for, my dumb ass decided to say, "Oh yeah, I forgot my passcode." Like what the fuck?
enjoyed playing a game so much that I wanted to stay in that world for as long as I could, and working through the achievement list got me to do just that. And the second being that when I finished a game, I had a pretty high percentage of trophies done, so I figured I'd just knock the rest out. With nearly every game I completed, though, by the time I was done with it, I kind of hated it. The process of 100%ing a title left a bad taste in my mouth, and despite how much I may have loved a game, it's become impossible to not look back without some frustration. The best memories of them faded away and were replaced with the most mundane and tedious bits of gameplay. Whether it be getting all the feathers in Assassin's Creed 2, or waiting in empty lobbies so I could complete the co-op missions in Far Cry 3, or grinding out play after play, trying to stay in the pocket for 10 seconds in Madden 11. Why did I get this platinum? There's almost always something about a completion run that leaves me wondering if I would have enjoyed the game more had I just stopped after initially beating it. To complete
And I will say, yeah, I stopped. I never really went after trophies, and a lot of the fun went away whenever I started trying to go after a certain achievement. Which I understand, like, hey, you're trying to give yourself something to do to continue to play the game and all this and that, but uh, that's kind of where a lot of the fun went away for even multiplayer games for me. Whenever I started trying to give my or trying to do certain things, for example, multiplayer Call of Duty. Once I started trying to go for the camo grind and trying to finish the battle passes and stuff, I kind of stopped having as much fun because I didn't get on the game when I wanted to and play it how I wanted to. I just played it because I had this objective and all this and that. I could understand if you're trying to make content on it or some shit, but at the same time, once it, and that's a lot of YouTubers that I've learned over the time. They say once it felt like it became a job, it wasn't fun no more for them. And some people they continue to play a game today just because they wanted to play that game. They didn't play the game just because uh, of this, that, and the third. But then there's also on the flip side, some people only play a game because they know that's what their channel is branded around at this point. Uh, use Phase Jev at this point. Phase Jev, if you go through to his channel, uh, his whole ass channel is literally I don't know. Just well here lately skate, but most of the time it's Call of Duty type stuff, and he does a lot of times it's Call of Duty, and he's doing the camo grinds and all this and that. He's got a shit ton of playlists for different games, but my point is like he specifies each Call of Duty. I'm surprised that he didn't really specify before this point. But World War II, Fortnite, UFC, just random games. I'm assuming that's like if he plays a one off or something. But Black Ops 4, the beta, hell, and then so on and so forth. So many people play certain things just because they know that that's what their core audience wants to see from them. And as you see, there's a lot of people, uh, a lot of Call of Duty. And personally, this wasn't even one of the main reasons I followed him. It was when he started playing a lot of these scary games. Is when I started actually following him. I think when I started actually, yeah, it was during this challenge accepted time. Whenever I started liking a lot of his stuff. Uh, but my point is to this, there's a lot of stuff certain people only play because they feel like that's what their channel is known for. But when you start being able to play whatever because you want to play it, that's when it's more fun.
Complete a game, players often have to engage with it in a way that is different from what most likely convinced them to try to complete it in the first place. It goes from being a video game to being a checklist, and while I
Yeah.
do end up playing it for longer, I rarely get more value from that extra time. The reality is, most titles aren't designed around being completed, and yeah, they shouldn't be. Completionists make up a tiny percentage of players, and given that most people who start a game don't even finish it, putting a ton of focus on making a title that is enjoyable to 100% is low on the priority list. With that all said, every game on Xbox and PlayStation is required to have achievements, and at this point most titles on Steam have them as well. So regardless of whether or not developers really want to, they have to put some thought into the completion criteria of their game. And depending on how they approach this, the choices they make could inadvertently end up wasting a ton of time for players who choose to complete it, as is.
Well, and also that just depends. The reason why is because they have to give people some reason to play the game, of because they're like, well, they don't have to. I don't think, but I feel like they do that is to give people reason to want to play their game or continue to play their game instead of just because. Let's use Call of Duty for example. I'm surprised that they even have it because that they're like, bro, we come out every year. There's a new Call of Duty every year, so fuck it. Let's just let people play, and but also they give more challenges because I feel like also because they are like, well, we have all these games. Let's give them more reasons to come to this game, other than just the camo grind, other than just because it's the new Call of Duty, um, which uh, which pisses me off. But it's the same. But like Fortnite, there I don't feel like there's really a reason to play outside of the if unless I was to play the Fortnite Save the World mode. But other than the Save the World mode, but I'm talking about more like the multiplayer battle royale type modes or all the other little side modes that they have. Uh, I feel like a lot of those modes, there's not no real reason to go in and play them, and a lot of people are like, well, you just go in and have fun with the game. Yeah, I understand that, but there's a lot of people that just can't fathom the idea of playing a video game unless there's a reason behind it. Uh, and me personally, I'm one of those people that would. I don't care. I would just hop on the game. If it's fun, I'll play it. If it's not fun, I'll well fuck it. Uh, and that's the same as like certain games that just are until the game starts getting like kind of boring and repetitive. That's when I start getting like very bored with it, and especially when it's just repetitiveness. I'm like, I don't. I would rather, and they don't continue the story at least because I've played so many games and the narrative is just so repetitive. And and that's kind of like where I'm at with like Ratchet and Clank. I love that game as I was growing up, but like the with now, it just feels so repetitive. It, with each thing, um, it don't feel like each mission felt really different. Like it, there's a little bit of differences here and there, but honestly, and that's one of the biggest reasons why with even Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. A lot of that repetitiveness, and yes, they did continue the story, but it was just so far it drug out that it didn't really have to be that far drug out. It was like by the time we even got so far into it, it was like, dude, that could have been like the first 15 minutes of a movie if you would have just squished it all down together in one little area, instead of making us go out of here doing that, doing this. And I understand that's part of the games that you play is just the grind, but uh, I don't know. It just feels like they are pushing too much sometimes. And like he said, there's just so much time. Players could just whoever it is could just be like, you know what? There's is this? I ain't really getting nothing more out of this. So fuck it.
Customary for Razbuten videos like this, I imagine a handful of you are saying, if you don't like completing games, then just don't do it. And that's fair, but it doesn't take into consideration that I have a lizard brain that tricks me into thinking it would be a good idea to get all the achievements in games I like, despite me knowing that it never turns out well. So with all that in mind, I wanted to examine what goes into games that are actually worthwhile to complete. So to get a fuller picture, I reached out to a handful of developers, as well as someone who has 100% and more
And that will be on somebody else's perspective because one game for you could be worthwhile playing all the way through, but then another person over here they'll be like, dude, that game is the worst fucking game to ever exist, and then some people, then to them, another game could be the best game. For me, the best game, in my opinion, is like Red Dead Redemption, the story mode at least. I don't really care for the multiplayer as much because I just got they quit putting out updates and shit. And I can't say, like I said earlier, the repetitiveness. Most games do get repetitive after a while, but when the very beginning, from the if it's from the very beginning and it's just so, and if I wasn't really interested in it in the first place, and I was somewhat interested, but I played it, uh, it just all depends. There's a lot of factors into a game that makes me want to, if I want to continue to play or not. A lot of the reason I say Red Dead Redemption is because I just enjoy the cowboy era. I love that kind of stuff. I wasn't a big fan of the knight and chivalry and shit like that. I didn't care for the knight and shining armor type shit. I liked cowboys and Indians and shit like that. I love learning about that kind of stuff more.
titles than anyone else on the planet. Probably Gerard the Completionist Khalil. And I found in all of the conversations I had that the heart of making completion enjoyable starts with finding ways to connect the journey to the reward.
That to me is the most important part is one, how cohesively the piece is from start to finish, and two, with completion in mind and completion criteria outlined, is it worth that extra investment, that extra polish, that extra time to get to that, golden pot at the end of the rainbow?
With certain tasks, being rewarded with just an achievement isn't enough. When titles have me doing things like gathering collectibles for the sake of gathering collectibles, I almost always either end up resenting the game for wasting my time or quit trying to complete it. In order
And that I don't really mind, honestly. It just depends on how the map looks. I will say that because if the map is a lovely map, and you're actually giving me something to go collect stuff, some a reason to go and explore the map more than I've already got, hey, that's fine. But if the map itself is like some gringy, dark, scary looking shit like this, and you're like, oh, you got to collect fucking 10 keys, and that means that means I got to search through every single tiny nook and cranny, like this little area right here. I probably would have had looked in there, so I would have looked in there, or into this mushy shit, whatever it would have been. I'd have seen if there was a prompt to hold down a button or some shit, or dig or something. Whatever the fuck this game is, I don't even know. But my point is, it's just in general that I would have, it would have taken me so much longer. Also because I'm scared what could be around that corner.
For me to feel like my time is being well spent, I want some sort of reward, preferably one that
Exactly. What the fuck's behind that goddamn corner?
impacts gameplay in a meaningful way. A series that is pretty bad about this is Uncharted. For example, in Lost Legacy, there's a section called the Western Gates. It's a non-linear area that allows players to explore at their own pace, and there's an optional quest to collect 11 tokens that are used to fill up a mysterious wall. The reward for getting all of them is a bracelet that alerts the player when other treasure is nearby. As the Uncharted series doesn't have any sort of permanent upgrades, I get this is about as good of a reward as I should have expected, but I still somehow felt let down by it. Yes, it does make it easier to get all the collectibles, but after spending a few hours roaming the Western Gates to complete the side quest, the last thing I wanted to do was scour the area again just to clean up the treasures I had missed. Knowing that this kind of reward would be the most useful thing I'd get in return for finding every secret, it didn't feel worthwhile and made me question why these kinds of collectibles were in the game at all, because they really just felt like a meaningless task to
Certain collectibles or certain things in general does feel like, dude, why was this not given to me at the beginning of the game, or why was this like not my first course to get? Why was this given to me like partway through the uh, end of the game? Now I have to go through the whole fucking game again, uh, but backwards just to find all the shit that I've missed or certain things. And or certain things that I could have done better with this thing, which I understand, like an OP gun, like the which you don't need from the very beginning, but at the same time, it would be better if like certain. It would have made the gameplay a lot more smoother. It would have made a lot more things been able to be done a lot better too.
pad out my playtime. The best way to help curb this sort of feeling is by providing meaningful rewards throughout the process. Take Ori and the Will o' the Wisps. The various collectibles spread throughout the map are used to either upgrade Ori in the form of increasing health, energy, and abilities, or rebuild the Wellspring Glades, which changes how the area looks, unlocks side quests and pathways to other areas, and almost always gives the player one of the upgrades for Ori as well. On top of that, as the game gets progressively harder, the best way to get past difficult areas, aside from just getting good, is to find more upgrades, meaning they're always on the player's mind.
When you design the game in such a way that every little trip you take off the beaten path gives you something beneficial for your main objective, you almost turn everybody into a little bit of a completionist, I think.
By tying characters
I can understand that too because there's so many games that I've played, and then it when you do go off your to the left or right or something, and then there's no extra stuff to be found or something, it can make you like, oh man, there's because like one game that I will always sit here and say that has caused me to uh I guess in a way I don't know want to call it PTSD, but there's a little part in the back of my head that wants to say always, always when you see a barrel or a something, you gotta fucking bust that barrel. Uh, and I want to say that stems from playing a lot of Zelda and shit like that. That because of coins and that kind of stuff, and God of War and those games. There is so much stuff in the that could help you when you. It makes it feel like it's worth busting every uh, barrel, looking at and flipping every stone and all this and that. But without something in every turn, you're kind of like, I don't see the point of going for it as much.
progression to exploration and discovery, it not only makes it more likely that players will want to search every nook and cranny of a map, but it also leads to them feeling more satisfied for putting in the time to do so than they would have had they just gotten a thumbs up. I think
Like for real, because also there's so many games that I've played, and then because of that part of my back of my head, I'm sitting there thinking like, dude, I've got to check every fucking little nook and cranny of this map, and then I go through the whole map and wasn't nothing but maybe one thing out of the whole thing, uh, and I'm like, dude, this is so disappointing. Like it kind of like after about one or two levels or so after so far into the game, I'm like, what's the point of searching so much now? Because there's not something in everything anymore. So it makes me not want to like really search shit anymore. And then I missed a big thing that I could have found later.
Collectibles should always reward the player in some way, and it doesn't need to be an upgrade, but it should be more than just a treasure you can look at in the menus. With all
For real, and that's the thing too. Like even if I find something, it's not always going to be usable. Uh, at least give me something like health or uh, more ammo or something. So I like it can be as simple as ammo. Like I understand it. Like depends on the game. Like oh, okay, you got to be more scared and all this and that. Well, okay, well if you don't want me to have ammo, give me more batteries. Give me more uh if not batteries, hell, give me more. I don't know, health, because I feel like I'm gonna go through a lot of fucking health through this game, or especially horror games and shit. Or give me a goddamn map, something, something, or give me a baseball bat so I can feel like I can at least defend myself, even if I can't really do nothing but stun this motherfucker.
that said, I do want to clarify that while this kind of approach makes completion more enjoyable, I don't necessarily think it is always the right design choice. For example, take Breath of the Wild. One of the major collectibles in the game are Korok seeds, which are densely packed across Hyrule, making it nearly impossible to not stumble upon some secret with every step Link takes. This causes the world to feel full and encourages players to explore anywhere that seems interesting, as it not only will lead to a fun little puzzle, but also has the useful reward of being able to unlock more inventory slots. The thing is, there are 900 of them, which is far too many to collect. And that's because they're not meant to all be collected. There's so many of them because the developers wanted players to constantly encounter these little moments of mystery no matter where they went, and by having so many Korok seeds, they ensured that would happen. This choice makes 100%ing Breath of the Wild a maddening experience, but I don't think it was the wrong choice, because had they scaled back the number of Korok seeds, the world would have far less magic to it. In order to make
Yeah, because it felt I didn't finish this game myself, like even the playthrough at all. But when I did play this game, I did not go through and try to go for all those seeds and stuff. Every now and then there was a seed that I would find and stuff. Same as like when I played GTA. I'll say this: there's a thing that you can do and go around finding like all the action figures and stuff. And I do understand that it does help you do certain things. But at the same time, it's a lot of it's just about the like, did I do it? So I eventually finished it, but at the same time, there's this part of me that once I finished it, was like, well, damn. And certain games kind of give you that, like, I like that. Kind of like searching for it and stuff. Uh, it took me so long to find it, and then my buddy was like, "Why didn't you look it up on YouTube?" I was like, "I don't know. It was just a lot of it was a fun because I was over here with I was playing in online games and stuff back then a lot more, and I would go in and talk with a lot of people, and then would find like I'll run across somebody and they'll be like, "Yeah, I found one over here," and it was like a lot of the fun was just exploring the map and then finding dumb shit and finding it wherever the fuck you found it. It wasn't, oh, uh, uh, I looked it up on YouTube and this is how I found it. Like, yeah, I could understand like certain things for 900 fucking seeds, but uh, it still wasn't as fun. It's more fun in a way when you figure it out yourself.
make the experience better for the average player, they made it worse for completionists, which I think is fair. Nintendo doesn't have achievements, but I've been wondering if they did, whether or not collecting every Korok seed would be one or not. Given that the reward for getting them all is a
I believe it would, honestly, because that is a lot of fucking. That is a big achievement that you could say that I did it.
golden piece of shit, I assume the devs don't think it's worthwhile to gather them all. So I would guess that
It
they
is.
wouldn't have it be one, because including it as an achievement might encourage more players to do it, which most likely would lead to a lot more people leaving Breath of the Wild with negative feelings. Obviously, the argument could be made that excluding an achievement like that would technically not be completing the game, and that ties into another thing that came up in
And that's the thing, though. I like the one for certain achievements, so just to be like, so I can prove to myself. And there's this one achievement that I still can't fucking get, in Red Dead Redemption 2. Uh, uh, there it's like the last trophy that I need to be able to say, oh, I'm done with the trophies. Is get attacked by a bear 10 times or some shit and survive. I've done it so far like 7 or 8 times, but I think you're supposed to. And I feel like I've done it like 20 times, but the thing is like it does like I don't know if it's messing up on me or what, but like I swear I've done it like 20 to 30 times, and there'll be times that it'll count, but then there'll be times that it don't count. And then I'm like, but according to the thing, I've only done it 8 times, and so I'm not sure if I have to do it two like in a row, like I have to defeat the bear 2 times in a row or some shit like that or whatever. But like a lot of times I don't, you don't come across the bear as often as you might want to as well, and you could be in the area where a bear would be, but it's just not always
all the
there.
conversations I had, which is that when it comes to creating completion criteria for trophies and achievements, it shouldn't be about having players experience all of the content.
That is true, but like at the same time, I would like sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, but like uh I that's why I like to have the trophies there, just in case. Like I still like this game. I've done beat the game. I want something more to go for though. But I don't like how certain trophies can be stuck in certain spots. Uh, for example, not certain spots, but like certain. You can only get this trophy if you get to this part of the story. And then once you, if you don't get this trophy in this part of the story, you're like you're SOL.
It should be about encouraging them to interact with it in interesting ways.
We'll come up with a bunch of ideas based on what we think will be cool with the feats. It's more pointing out a feature of the game that we want players to see that's weird. So when you read the feats list, you're like, what? I didn't even know that was there.
The best achievements give players a reason to keep playing beyond just wanting to check things off a list. They get people to approach things from a different angle by promoting playstyles that the developers think are worth trying. When done right, it not only makes
Not only that though, some of these motherfucking trophies are so damn hard to go after. That would be like if you are a content creator though, those challenges alone could be just a challenge video instead of having to create your own challenge. I just feel like that would, because of certain challenges I've come across, like when I on God of War there's a there's like the older God of War, so there was one that you had to beat the game in only using like the blades or some shit, like or without the blades, one of the two. I don't know. You had to beat the game pretty much without using a certain weapon, and that was one of the hardest fucking. It may have not even been God of War. It was a game like God of War. I think it was like Dark Souls, not Dark Souls. Fuck. What fucking game was that? Anyways, it was a game where you, the main character, he had his fucking main weapon, but you had to beat the game without using that fucking weapon at all, no matter what.
the process of completing a game more engaging, but it also gives players a new appreciation for how it can be played. For example, a few of the achievements in Hades got me to experiment with various keepsakes, which called for me to approach rooms in dramatically different ways than I had before.
I love the fucking art style of this game. I just don't know about the like the the way this looks. I don't like the like upper scale. That's one reason why I like WoW and all that kind of stuff kind of throws me away in League of Legends, because of the like I'm up here, my camera's way up here, and then everything's out here.
Whether that be avoiding enemies at all costs as to not take any damage,
Same as like 2D games or side scroller games. A lot of those games that other than Mario and a few other games I could play, but like side scroller games, I'm not crazy about. I'll play them. I have had fun playing them, but a lot of side scroller games, I kind of just don't have fun too much with.
or going balls to the walls to clear a room as quickly as possible. This actually led to me
Like for example, the most fun I've played with a side scroller game recently would have been Hollow Knight. I'm not saying that's the best, but from my experience, that was one of the more fun side scroller games, and I wouldn't even really say that's a side scroller, but because there's a lot of different dynamics to the game, but at the same time, the way it portrays itself is like a side scroller game.
Discovering my favorite build, that being equipping the plume feather and fists so that I could get to a stupidly high dodge percentage and make Hades look like an idiot. Fuck you, Dad. Furthermore, an achievement in Shovel Knight pushed me to become a pseudo speedrunner, and I started to look at what I originally thought was a slow-paced platformer through an entirely new lens. And the trophies in Bloodborne actually convinced me to do the Chalice dungeons, which turned out to be some of my favorite late-game content. Of course, achievements are a double-edged sword. While their ability to encourage players to
Is that what it's called? A platformer game, not a side scroller? I don't know. I'm not smart.
engage in certain behaviors can lead to positive experiences, it can also push players to engage with some of the most uninteresting and tedious aspects of a game if done poorly.
So yeah, it's like not giving the player the right amount of control.
Yeah, because there are some things that, just for example, when I played Red Dead, going back
Players
to
to
that,
engage in certain behaviors can lead to positive experiences, it can also push players
like this right here, there was some tedious shit, and just because I got like a lower ranking, I was like, no, I gotta fucking do this again just so I could get the best. No, no, fuck this.
to engage with some of the most uninteresting and tedious aspects of a game if done poorly.
So yeah, it's like not giving the player the right amount of control, breaking the spirit of the game, being too homogenous, being too much of a time or skill commitment. And it's like these are all really subjective things, which I think kind of just shows that this is an interesting part of design. This is not just a afterthought that a lot of people maybe consider it as. It's this aspect of giving a player a full meal, and like sometimes that's not articulated well.
With achievements, there are a lot of these little traps that many developers fall into, and these end up getting players to chase challenges that they don't have much control over, taking away any real sense of accomplishment that comes from
That is true though.
completing them.
I think some of the things that we
Because like certain games just give you so many tedious little tasks, and it's kind of just taken away from the story itself. But at the same time, that's if you wanted to go for it. But also sometimes a game itself will make you go in out of the way and do certain things because without this you can't even progress the story, and it's like, damn, man.
we avoid is like anything that's based on randomness. We want the player to feel like it's attainable and understandable from the beginning. It's not something that's just like find the red thing.
There's an achievement in Dark Souls called Knight's Honor, and it asks players to acquire all the rare weapons in the game. This calls for them to do multiple playthroughs in order to collect boss souls so that they can make the various weapons. And that part is perfectly fine. Each New Game Plus gets a little more challenging, and it's nice to revisit bosses once you've gotten good. The issue with this achievement comes from weapons that can only be acquired from random drops. So to get it, players need to grind certain areas and hope that they get lucky. This isn't fun, and I know this because I spent over 8 hours in the Duke's archives killing the same 3 channelers over and over, praying for that 1% drop to come before I ran out of brain cells. Once I
Bruh, I played this one game trying to get this trying to just get this one little weapon, and after so long I was like, you know what, why am I trying for this one weapon that after so long I've done mastered killing this motherfucker. I've done master killing all these other motherfuckers. Why am I going after this one fucking weapon that is supposed to help me better throughout the game? Yes, but at the same time, because like I've already beat them, I'm already doing good. Why do I need them now? Like what's so fucking grand about it? That'd be cool if you could get them all the first try. That'd be cool as fuck. Yeah, but I understand maybe making you do 2 to 3 times overall, but damn, you're sitting there telling me that like I have to play. He said 8 fucking hours for one.
got it, I didn't feel like I had experienced more of the game, and I wasn't particularly proud that I had finally gotten the drop. I mostly just felt dumb for wasting my time. One of the
Because like you're sitting there like, okay, I did all this for these weapons, but I've got all the best weapons and all this and that. But now what am I going to do with these weapons? I was beating these motherfuckers with a damn toothpick earlier. Uh, I was beating them with a damn toothpick. What's any better about what I'm fucking doing now? Uh, uh, what now these and now I can go play through the fucking game and one shot every fucking body with every fucking weapon out there. Like, okay, cool, but it's really not. I don't know. It depends on the game, I guess. Just depends on if you really enjoyed that game, I guess.
Biggest complications with achievements is that due to them being relatively new to the video game landscape, there is no real consensus on who they should be tailored towards. I imagine a lot of people would say that they should be made for completionists who want to get recognition for doing every challenge a game has to offer, no matter how tedious. I would argue that they shouldn't be. I have no data to back up what I'm about to say, so take it with all the salt you have, but from what I've seen, the vast majority of people who get 100% of the achievements or trophies in a title aren't all that concerned about engaging with every aspect of a game. Instead, they just want to extend their time with it in a meaningful way while still having some sort of definitive stopping point and getting recognition for the extra effort. Alternatively, some people just want a really high gamer score, so they're mostly just concerned with big number getting bigger. But I think the same ideas apply. Achievements provide developers with the opportunity to outline what
I'll say one problem with that number right there that he showed. This number, this ain't even
extra effort. Alternatively, some people
this ain't a problem in my eyes. But when you see somebody that has this many, at least platinum trophies, I want to say platinum trophies, not just some random bronze, silver, or gold. Uh, honestly, I don't even know how many I have. But my point is, the with the whole entire thing. Let me see how many I have, honestly, or am I able just to? I can't just go in and check it out, can I? Oh, fuck. Okay. I'm just going through. I like some of the games I have. It's wild. Like I have a shit ton of trophies in general. Is what I'm getting at. But I have probably more silver and bronze than uh any other of these trophies. I might have two platinum, might uh and I because I just can't find where the fuck I would have it. But my point is, the the trophies when it gets scary when you have somebody that has a lot of platinums because you're like, oh, he's a fucking gamer, so that means he must be good at gaming, and that also kind of ties into like, okay, your my friend is over here telling me I must be fucking good at the game, uh, at all games, every game, but then they get mad when I'm not good at a game. Like, what the fuck you mean? Like, you don't realize how much time it took me to get that shit.
just want a really high gamer score, so they're mostly just concerned with big number getting bigger. But I think the same ideas apply. Achievements provide developers with the opportunity to outline what they believe is worthwhile for players to complete. And having curated completion criteria that doesn't simply just ask players to do everything, but instead directs them towards all of the best things.
Because if I agree with that too, because the developers are trying to get you to, yeah, they feel like there's a reason for this, even if it's as mundane as just check out the whole fucking map, or if it is as tedious as, hey, I want you to really get into this game and try to figure out different ways to play this game. Because there's some games that I'm sitting here like I have nothing else to go for. So let me since I beat the game, let me go on my way about it.
Is what I think developers should strive to do. Admittedly, this is a lofty goal that skews towards my personal preferences. I'd wager a guess that most traditional completionists would prefer for achievements to reflect the full scope of a game, which is fair. I just think that there
I don't know, something about that game right there really made me sick. When I played this game right here, I forget what it's called, near something. I could be wrong, but when I was playing this game, um, I got so sick playing this game, and I didn't get far at all. And games don't really make me sick unless it's like a first-person shooter. Usually, I don't know if it was all the movement, all the what. I don't know, but something about this game. Every time I have tried to hop on, even since it just makes me get this queasy feeling, like I get nauseous as hell uh playing this game, and I loved it as far as I've gotten. I I don't mind to go and replay it. And I've fully finished the game one time, and I've thought about going back and doing like a like, and this I don't even know if this is the one that I played, but it looks like it. But it just feels like when I was playing this every time, no, even though just walking around physics made me sick.
Fair. I just think that there's a camp of people who want more out of a title than just finishing it, but also have no interest in doing menial tasks that don't reflect what makes the game great in the first place. I do want to make it clear that when it comes to me not enjoying the process of completing games, I recognize that I am part of the problem. It takes a certain kind of person and approach to enjoy 100%ing titles, and through talking to Gerard specifically, I realized that one of my biggest issues comes from how I normally go about completing games. With the vast majority of them, I only decided to do everything after beating the main story, which made it so the achievement cleanup felt separate from the core of the game. I would do tasks without a whole lot of rhyme or reason, and inevitably be unsatisfied when my final moment with a game was grabbing a note that I had missed earlier. It felt like a checklist because I made it one, instead of finding a way to have the journey of completing a game be a narrative in and of itself.
So to me, the idea of how you approach a game and completing it is a narrative in itself. So if you are the kind of person that's like, I want to be the maximum level character by the end of the game, you have to plan in advance how that goes. That narrative process of building out those things is so much more fascinating to me than the prospects of just getting to the end of the game and then thinking about starting to complete it.
This
And okay, I can see that as well being a thing, but one of the biggest problems with that is when you're sitting there playing a game, you're like, um, you have to certain games has so many motherfucking trophies to keep track of, and you're like, dude, how do I keep track of all this? And then you can have like you can do it like a sheet. You can line up everything the way you want to and all this and that. But at the same time, it's like, bro, what the fuck do I do? So much to do.
sort of approach, where conscious thought goes into the order and strategy behind completing a game, leads to a far more satisfying result than just going for it. In the spirit of experiencing my own narrative of completion, a few months back, I decided to play and complete Hades. I put a lot of thought in how to approach each achievement, and I did what I could to structure my playthrough in a way that ended on the most exciting note, which was doing a 16 heat run. And I know that some of you probably think that a 16 heat run isn't that impressive, but please give me some credit. I need more validation. I think the nature of Hades being a roguelike helped mitigate some of the typical obstacles I bump into when completing games, as the whole point is to play it over and over. But I also think planning out the most interesting ways to get through the achievements made the process more engaging. At no point did I feel like I was cleaning things up. It was all part of the process. It's one of the few games that I've completed where I walked away appreciating it more because I completed it. I don't think this approach works for every title, but I do think it helps. With that said, for it to work, players need to either go into a game planning to complete it or decide pretty early on that they'd like to, and personally, I don't have the time, patience, or interest to do that. I hope as time goes on, developers continue to shift how they look at achievements, and instead of basing them around aspects that really aren't meant to be completed, they look at ways to highlight what makes a game good, and get players.
And that's another thing though. Like if you're sitting there, like, are you playing the game for playing the game, or are you playing the game to complete the game? Like I understand you are playing the game to play the game, but like when you finish a game, or just in general, or when you are playing the game, or you want like you that's something you should come up with at the very beginning of like your gameplay. Like, do I want to try to 100% this game, or maybe not? But and also a lot of the times, it's not even and I understand why he had probably has had that mindset before. Is depending on the game. Like for me, for example, I went into Red Dead Redemption just wanting to play a game, and I enjoyed the fuck out of that game. because the multiplayer wasn't out yet, from what I remember, and I fell in love with the story as I was playing it, and then after online came out and we played it for a while, and then I kept going back to the story, whatever. The As I was playing the story so many times, I genuinely was sitting there, like after I finished the story and got done with the epilogue and all that kind of shit, I was sitting there like, dude, I want more. So that's why I kind of now am going back and trying to do a lot of these missions in general, or these not missions, trying to just get the uh, platinum or something, because that gives me some more reasons to keep trying to play and more reasons to want to play. Uh, the only thing that I have not um, out of all the games that I've played, uh, the only game that I truly did not enjoy, I would have to, or ever tried to get any uh, completionist out of, and I will say this, or multiplayer games. Reason I say it like this is because multiplayer games tend to die. Uh, I hate trying to complete a multiplayer game, especially, for example, um, one any Call of Duty, for example. I'm sitting there playing the Call of Duty game, and now if I wanted to go back and try to beat that, complete that game, unless I have friends that want to go in the game and try to help me play some games and stuff, a lot of times I just in general do not have the I can't find a lobby or this or that, because any Call of Duty game, or even like wrestling games that I used to play all the time, like WWE, UFC, and stuff like that. If I wanted to try to find even some games that are still like prevalent, but they don't, um, they tend to not find. I tend to not find as much enjoyment with this game. Uh, Once the game starts dying off a lot, because use Dead by Daylight for example as well. I've gotten apparently 84 out of 282. I'm looking at this right now, and out of the game, I've probably got the basic trophies. But then as the game continues, uh, yeah, as the game continues, there's more and more trophies to keep gathering uh, for each character that you play and all this and that. But the thing is, with this game, I continue to I'm sitting there like, bro, I would like to get the platinum for the game, but I can't get the platinum because the game continues. Uh, there's continuing to add more stuff to make the game more and more. And also, just whenever I go into a multiplayer game, like I said, it's just so hard to find, or not even find, but like do certain trophies, and unless, um, especially when the game starts to die off. Like, it's like, okay, get this and that and do this and that. Okay, that's cool, but then at the same time, if I do this, my main thing with this now is to continue to finish this and do that and do this and do that. But now, because I can't do certain things without, like, use Dead by Daylight. There's certain trophies you can't get unless you buy certain characters and all this and that. And it's like, bro, now it sucks because there's certain things that is literally stuck behind a paywall. Uh, and I'm like, I have to have these characters to be able to do this and that. And it's like, fuck, this sucks. Uh, but my point is, in general, I'm when a game's a multiplayer, that them are the worst trophies to go for.
To do more of it. While I don't complete nearly as many games these days as I used to, I do find myself getting pulled into doing it about once a year. And it almost always ends up the same way as the rest, with me never wanting to think about it again despite adoring it. So for now, all I can do is try to ignore the voice in my head that keeps telling me to complete any game I have an emotional connection to.
That's also, yeah, that's for real, because when you start getting into certain games and you're still having fun, I will say is, if you're still having fun and finding ways to have fun with the game, no matter what the game may be, just enjoy the game. And then if you're sitting there, once you start getting to a point to you're like, damn, I'm no longer having fun with this game, or I'm still having fun, but I can't think of shit else to do. Once you start finding that yourself into that point, that's when I feel like trying to go in and complete the game, it might be the part where you want to go. But if uh, but if you're yeah, but if you're no longer having fun with the game, that's when you start. You sh- you just in general shouldn't force yourself to complete, because you're already not enjoying yourself in the game, and then you're going to go in and do some tedious tasks that you are not longer having fun doing.
And then pray that when it eventually does convince me to go for that 100%, whatever game I'm playing is actually worth completing. And speaking of things being worth it, let me tell you about this video's sponsor, Raycon. You can tell for all of you still watching, did you like the twist at the end of Sixth Sense? Like, it's dramatic, I guess, but also it makes a lot of stuff in the movie not really make sense. You know?
I never
I
watched
don't
this.
know. I guess have a good day and or night, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
I'll say that was a good ass video. I'll say check. And if, like I've said before, if y'all do want to watch this without me interrupting 1,000 times, it'll be down in the description. And if y'all enjoyed this video, awesome. If not, I understand. But that was a fucking awesome video. This was more of a completionist, like as in completing a game with the intentions of getting trophies. But in general, I feel like getting getting finishing a game just depends in general if you're having fun with it. If you're no longer having fun with the game, don't worry about it. And I do understand, oh, I got to get my money out worth out of it. If you let me say this, for example, I now a story game, after so long you're just going to end up beating it probably. uh but like certain games, for example, like Red Dead Redemption, that is open world type shit, you can play for hours and days and weeks and months without ever fully beating the fucking story, because it's an open world game. Certain games just automatically take you to the next section and stuff. Kind of like don't give you that open world feel, but it gives you like a feeling like. But what I'm getting at is like um, it like certain games don't give you that full enjoyment that you would probably get when you was playing if you was to go in and not be thinking about shit in general. I don't know. Say if I'm sitting here playing God of War, each thing kind of leads me to the next thing. But if I sitting there playing Red Dead Redemption, like I keep mentioning, I could play that game for days upon days without finishing the game fully. And if I'm sitting there having fun with the game, hey, I'm having fun with the game. If I'm not having fun with it, you're probably not going to catch me playing it no more. And I'll play a game until I stop having fun with it, and it's not even the fact that, oh, well, I'm trying to be like a poser or this or that, play a certain game just for certain things. No, I'm having fun with the game while I'm playing it, but once the fun kind of goes away, uh, like I said, like I was saying though, I could if you're trying to put just hours in on a game, just to get yourself that feeling that, oh yeah, I finally got my money's worth of the game. I don't know what to say. It's I look at it like this: when I'm not no longer having fun with the game, that's I done got my money's worth out of it. I had the fun. Um, Also, I'm very big on not buying fucking games brand spanking new, and depends on the game title, I will say as well. Because one game that I'm waiting on is Halloween, that is coming out in September of 2026. Uh, that's one of the games that I'm fucking gonna buy right off the get go whenever I can. I don't give a shit. I love that kind of franchise. My favorite game was Friday the 13th, I probably put some. I probably have at least 800 hours in that goddamn game, uh, even by myself. Uh, I know the game was out longer than 800 hours, but I'm saying with my time of playing and all this and that, that was me. My time. That was me playing. I played. When I played with friends, I was doing a lot of it with friends on my YouTube. If you go back to my older videos, but in general, a lot of the videos was uh, just in general. Uh, I had fun playing that game. That was me just having fun. I didn't care. I didn't feel like there was something behind being sweaty or this or that. It was fun. It was a lot of glitches and all this and that in the game. It was a bunch of dumb shit happening all the time. No matter how I felt about the game, no matter how I felt about the day, that game right there was just always fun to play until I ended up being killer a bunch of times. I toward closer to the end of the game, it felt like ooh, when I closer to the end of the game, with the nerfs and buffs and stuff that they were had already put placed out, it felt like the killer was at a disadvantage, especially if he was playing against a party with friends team, uh, because it just felt like I was being bullied all the damn time. But overall, um, if you're over here sitting and you're saying, "Oh, I'm not having fun with this game anymore," all I can say is just turn the game away. Uh, like that's the best I can say is if you're no longer having fun with the game, and until you start having fun again, or want to genuinely play the game.
Energizer 3-in-1.
What the fuck? Yeah, until you find yourself wanting to have fun with that game again. Because there's times that I've quit having fun with the game, then I end up hopping back over on that game. Uh, so if you are having fun with the game, have fun with the game. If not, it is. But I will say this: the link will be down in the description if y'all want to check out the channel. Awesome. If y'all want to check out the video without me yapping 1,000 miles or minutes per hour, it is what it is. But I want to say thank y'all for watching. Do what you got to do when you really want to do it. Have fun with your